Hello, welcome to our podcast. Let's call a thing a thing.
I am Becky.
And I am Amy.
And today we're going to talk about our friendship.
Hello, everyone. I cannot believe I'm here with you, Rebecca.
Yes, it's the same for me on my side of the microphone. It's very, very like a blessed to be with you this morning or whenever we are in the world.
I am Emily and I come from Québec in Canada and I present you Rebecca Lacasse.
Yes, who's from Saint-Georges-de-Beauce, like 45 minutes south from Quebec City, actually. A Quebecer also. And a friend of Emily for now, we just realized 10 years.
And that's funny that we just realized this today for our first episode of our podcast, Let's Call a Thing, that it's like our birthday friendship gift after 10 years of friendship, besties, frenchies.
Yes. Yes, frenchies. We are certainly the frenchies besties who are friends since 2011. So 10 years. We just passed 10 years a couple of months ago.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Of friendship. What a gift.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to our first episode of Let's Call a Thing a Thing.
Yes.
Rebecca and me, well, Becky and me, we all talking a lot on Zoom because I am in Germany since 3 years now with my husband I say husband, but we are not married, but it's in English, it's easier, right? To say husband than boyfriend.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So my husband is a Canadian military, and Rebecca and me, we've been in touch. We kept in touch together.
Yes.
Yeah, on Zoom.
Yes.
And we thought maybe why don't we just record our conversation? Because we always have our aha moments.
Yes, like Oprah is always saying, we always realize something together when we talk on Zoom, on the phone. Well, actually, it's Emmy who had that idea saying that maybe we should do a podcast together. And we were like, oh my God, what a nice idea, because we always realize something when we talk to each other.
It's crazy.
Always.
It's even frightening sometimes.
Yes, it's a gift, actually, that we have that we cannot explain. And when Emmy had that idea, I was like, well, that's kind of funny because someone talked to me like a week and a half before. Well, Rebecca, you have kind of a great diction in English, even if it's not my first language, as you can hear. It's both our second language. And he said, well, maybe you should do a podcast. And a week and a half after, Emily says, I have an idea. I want to talk to you about it. And, you have to understand, we're friends for 10 years, but we are like cosmic sisters.
I know.
We can finish our sentences.
It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it because it always happened. There was no phone call, no FaceTime without first a haha moment or a thought that I have that she just continue it. I'm like, yeah, I know you know. I know you understand. It's precious. And even thinking about it, it gets me emotional.
Oh, yes. The emotions are always like not that far, from the microphone. Let's say it that way. Let's put it that way.
And the thing I like between us, Becky, is that we are not afraid of talking about hard stuff. That's why our podcast name is Let's Call a Thing, because we don't like to spend too much time explaining something. We just like to say, hey, this is what's happening. This is hard even talking about this, but let's just dive into it. And even if it hurts, I don't care. If it's for the greater good, let's do it. And it hurts sometimes, but damn, we learn.
We learn. And the thing is, because we have that much of a friendship and connection, it's like I feel like when I have to talk about something very specific and that could hurt, It's like I have your back and you have mine.
I know.
We don't need to say, don't worry, you can speak freely because you know I have your back.
That's true. We never told that to each other. We didn't have to.
No, it comes with the package that we have.
Package
the
deal.
kind of gift that we have together. It comes with that package that I have your back, you have mine. And when you have something difficult to tell me or the opposite, we feel a comfort and we know that we are going to be received also. And in our case, the link that we have is like you said, it's even a little frightening sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's like we don't even know where it's coming from because we're not part of the same family. We're not even from the same generation. We have to say that.
That's true.
We are not. And our connection is so close. It's almost frightening sometimes.
And I want to get back to the first day we met, because that's kind of interesting. I want to talk about that with you, Becky, because it still is like a legend in my head, like a myth or something, because I cannot believe
it is.
The day I met you, my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, was in a tasking. In the civil world, it means like a contract, let's say, of like 3 months. And he had to go to Gagetown in Oromocto, New Brunswick, where Becky and Johnny, her husband, lived at the time. And Johan was there as a guest to have a supper. And I was in Quebec City in my parents' house because I was 19 and I wasn't in my apartment yet. And then Johan just said to me, Johan is my hubby. He said, hey, I'm going to call you for my friends tonight. At the time, Zoom wasn't a big thing. So he called me by Skype. I see my hubby's face in the camera. And all of a sudden, behind his face, I can see Becky. And I never saw her. I've never heard about you anything. And he's just, I'm with Johnny and Becky, good friends of mine. And just, Becky, you arrived out of nowhere. You pushed Johan from the camera and you were like, hey, how are you? I'm like, hey, good. And you? As if I knew you for years. And we were like, hey, how about you, girl? Like,
that was kind of crazy because I remember him. In my memory, he turned his laptop because he was the laptop was facing like let's say the window, and he was talking to you, and then he said, "Well, I'm going to present you my friends," and then he turned the laptop around. That's my memory of it.
Okay,
maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I live.
That makes sense. I remember the window.
And he said, well, that's my girlfriend, Emily. I'm going to present you Rebecca and Johnny, Becky and Johnny. So I'm like, hey, how are you? And, we couldn't present ourselves live. We were on through the computer to meet each other. But I felt like I was meeting you in person. You know what I mean? That's how that's how it happened to me, that day. And I'm like, hey, hi, Emily. Nice meeting you. And I remember that in less than maybe 5 minutes, you and I were talking and your husband was with my husband talking. And they were like in another discussion. And you and I were like, it was done, the deal was done. Yep. The connection was done, and it started like that it started right that time at that moment, and we just started to talk to each other like we were friends for 10 years.
Yeah, and we were...
Which is the case today, actually.
Yeah, it's as if this video conference call was exactly the same type of FaceTime we do right now in 2021. So that's the crazy part.
Exactly.
Because our relationship, it evolved with the time, but it still has the same vibe than the first day I met you.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, Becky, for me, it was a coup de foudre. How do you say that in English?
Well, I like that expression in English because when you fall in love with someone, you have you fall in love, but we can say you fall in like with someone.
Yeah.
We really fell in like.
We fell in like, exactly.
Big time.
Oh.
And it was like a flash,
Instant.
A snap, instant thing. Love at first sight. That I didn't remember what it was, the expression, but that is what it is. And that's exactly what we have lived that day.
Yeah.
And I mean, we met like in March-ish. And you were both invited to our wedding.
The same year. And I need to tell you my side of the story, because when I heard about your wedding, I was, why not? I mean, it makes sense. But why? As if I would be so mad she didn't invite me. Like, as if. And we arrived there, and I realized when we were on the table after the ceremony, and I realized that there were just one table. It was picnic tables, so under a big chapiteau, big tent.
Yes, it was a champêtre. Oh my goodness, an outside wedding. Okay,
yeah,
a countryside wedding.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I loved it, by the way. And I realized that there were just only one picnic table for the friends of the family, and we were like 6, like 3 couples maximum. And I was, it's the first time since I met you that I'm like, maybe there's something special that's happening with me and her, because for me, it makes sense that I'm gonna go to her wedding, but then I'm like, no, it's kind of special. Why am I here? But it still makes sense to me to be here, but you don't see that often. Just meet someone and being the closest friends of the family for a wedding. It was magic.
I didn't have to ask myself the question, are we going to invite Joanne and Emmy? I remember when we were doing because I have done a double wedding, as you remember.
Yeah.
On our side of the list, of the people that we wanted to invite, you were a couple, like you said, of friends and / military, because we had such a big families, and we were 2 couple that are going to be married. So it was a lot of families, involved, and which is normal, because I think we were like something like 160 people. So we didn't have a big quantity of friends that we could invite. But to us, it was just normal, and it was a fact that you were part of the list. I didn't even ask myself the question at that time.
I think it's probably 2 months ago you sent me a picture of me at your wedding, and I couldn't believe I look like a kid in this picture.
Well, 19, it's like you are a kid in a certain
It's true, but could you... Okay, Becky, would you believe it if I told you at your wedding at 19... Hey, Becky, do you know in 10 years to today, I'm going to have 2 kids. You're going to have a beautiful daughter, and we are going to make a podcast together from Germany to Saint-Malachie, Beauce, Québec.
No.
From Canada.
No. Impossible to believe. And even at that time, I mean, we have a couple of years difference. Like I said, we are 2...
Oh, if you could see Becky's face.
Oh, mon Dieu.
Couple of
I'm not I'm not someone that have expression on my face at all. So that's why I'm very, oh my gosh. I'm like...
That's because...
Excuse me.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect, just your face. We have a couple of years.
Yes, a couple of years of differences. We are 2 generations, which is a gift too.
It's complementary, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. We are complementary to each other, because I don't even remember how many times, and it's almost every single time that we talk to each other.
Yep.
That you make me realize something, or I make you realize something, or we both realize something. That's why we wanted to do that podcast.
Yes,
sorry.
That podcast.
Let's call a thing a thing.
Let's call
podcast. Podcast, baby. That's why we wanted to do that podcast.
Yes, and you're right. And it's not always new things.
Yes.
It's like we remind each other some values or ideas that we had in the past that we forgot.
That is life. That's how life is made. to just meet, when you have a problem and you go and you ask, you have an appointment with a psychologist, that person doesn't do the work for you.
No.
It's just that person is there to help you refocus on the good things or on the right way. But the work it is you that do the work. It is you that realize the stuff. But together, it's like having a psychologist, but it doesn't cost very much.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, you're so right.
And it's not a question of cost anyways, but it's like we have that kind of effect on each other. And second, I don't even have to explain things. I just need to put the subject on the table, to call a thing, and you're going to answer to my question. And it's going to be the answer that I was searching for, which is the most amazing part of our conversations. And it's always like that. That's the way we share life.
I'm just so emotional just listening to you, because I'm like, this girl is my partner, It's as if...
Yes.
It's really crazy, but if I could kneel in front of you with a ring and say, would you be my friend forever and ever?
Yes,
and be with me,
I will.
And I
will.
It's as if my mind just reminds me this freaking word partner. You're my partner. And it's crazy because I could say the same from my husband. And let's be clear in here. It's only friendship. There is no other.
Yeah. No, we're not in love. No.
We are not in love, but we are in
like.
Yes, we are in like. We are freaking in like. Okay.
Oh yes, big times.
For me, I'm in love with your soul.
Yes.
And we were talking about this lately about friendship. When we find our soulmate. It's regarding of the gender, regarding of the age, regarding of the experiences that you've been through, regarding of your
We
tastes.
are a proof of that.
We are a proof of that. And this is priceless. And I am grateful. I'm freaking grateful for that. I don't know who or what, but thank you, universe. Man, thank you, Ricky. Thank you to be in my life.
Thank you.
And
my goodness.
10 amazing years, and I want to have more and more years with you.
Me too. And we are just, we don't even have to put it on paper, to have a contract or to say we're going to do when you said it's like asking me do you want my ring? I'm going to give you a ring, Yeah,
but that doesn't exist. There's no system of friendship in the world. I hate it.
It doesn't exist. The way, you commit to a friendship,
Yeah.
How do we do that? Well, we already know how to do it. In fact, because we are a friend for 10 years. Yeah. But if there is some paperwork that we have to do, we're going to do it.
I want to do the paperwork. Oh my God. I need to find some paperwork. I need to create one and share it on our website or something, our Facebook account.
Yes. Why not?
Yeah, I'm freaking gonna do it just for fun and see what happens with the different section. Okay, what about values? We have to agree that we have to respect each other values, but it's funny. I think it's a good exercise to do just as curiosity, because we never think about this.
No.
What are the clause? What are the expectation?
Yes.
Because there's more than one.
Oh yes.
We never talk about this because for us it's so natural.
Oh yes. And it's already a done deal. But to do the exercise of putting it on paper.
Yeah. I think it would be
gosh.
Interesting. You know what?
And you know what? No. I know what you're about to say.
Me too.
I'm sure.
This is too much. No, it's never too much. I just love this. Oh my God. It's like my drug, Becky.
Oh, mon
My
Dieu,
drug.
Seigneur.
This is
My
like
goodness.
heroin. It's friendship liquid in my veins.
Oh, yes, me too.
Okay.
I think we should maybe do it live, actually.
Actually, yes. And that would be so interesting to know your expectation and me to tell you mine. And I'm sure it's not going to clash or anything. It's just going to be so interesting.
Yes, our expectation, I think when you have expectation, for me, okay, I'm talking for myself, of course, I think the expectations that we have from our friends are much more realistic.
Okay.
Than the expectations that we have from our mother, father, partner, kids.
Oh, God, yes.
Sister, brother. I think there's something that plays in our mind. I don't know what it is because I'm not a psychologist, but
we're close.
I really think so. I really think that our expectations in friendship are much more realistic than the expectation that we have from our family, our siblings, our daughter, mother, parents. But in my relationship with my friends, because I have a couple of, close friends, as you have.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm just thinking about a couple of things that I expect from you, the thing are much more realistic.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
Much more the truth and the real thing that I put on those paper. I don't know if we can compare, but to try to understand why our expectations are so truthful about our friends, but not necessarily that realistic about our families and, husbands and siblings and mother, father.
I love it. I'm just writing notes. Friendship contract. Girl, I'm on it.
Yes, I'm on it.
Contract. And we're going to sign it.
Yes.
We're going to sign it live on our podcast after
looking at all the details, the points.
Yeah, and I want to have in our contracts like what we want to continue doing together. I'm sure we don't have to. It's just an exercise, but we want to continue share. We want to continue keeping our discussion non-judgmental. And it's funny because I've never talked to you about this. It's so natural to us. It's even ridiculous to say, hey, you're not going to be judgmental, huh, Becky? I know you're not going to be. I know.
Exactly.
But it's funny to do it.
It's like, it's like love. You don't have any proof, any physical proof that love exists. Yeah. But it exists. Same for us. The judgment, we don't put any judgment into your and our relationship. We don't put, and we have talked about very, very specific things that it could have been very easy to judge.
Oh, but God.
Together for 10 years, because we have lived some stuff and we helped each other into a lot of things, like we said earlier, but we have never been judgmental. And that's funny because the sentence that we said to each other was, let's call a thing a thing.
Yep.
We were not trying to be judgmental. We were just wanted to say the real stuff and to call a thing to make sure that we are talking first about the same thing. We are on the same page first. And second, if we want to help the other about something, we have to put the stuff on the table to make sure we're talking about the same thing, and to make sure that if we want to go deep into that specific subject, we have to call a thing a thing. And we were not judgmental. That's kind of very, very, very big.
I'm gonna say something really awkward in here, but I'm sure you're gonna understand it. If we were to have a conversation and like, let's say it was a I dare you to or whatever, like, I don't know in which universe, but if we had to have a discussion naked, you and me, we would not even
it's
care.
True.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
I've never seen you naked. You've never seen me naked.
No.
But if I had to, for an unknown reason that I'm not able to explain, okay, and it's just we don't have any choice. We have to talk like standing up in front of each other naked. I would be so, well, whatever. Let's call it a thing. This is me. This is you. So what do you want to talk about? And we would not even have an awkward moment. It's gonna be funny, but not awkward. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
You know,
because I know exactly what you mean. But because like being naked, it's like you and I talking. Like it's always raw.
Stuff. It's raw. Oh my God!
Raw.
Yes. As if being naked.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's scary to be naked, and why are we scary to be judged? That's the only thing.
That's why.
Talking of raw stuff is removing our clothes in front of the other without being judged.
It is raw.
And Becky, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's the first time we talk for 45 minutes and more in English, you and me.
Yes,
first
time.
It's awkward and not at the same time.
It's not necessarily that easy because first it's our second language. Mm-hmm. So maybe, sorry for you guys, but sometimes maybe our words are going to skip or we're not going to say the proper words, or we're going to forget our S's at the end of words, or we are not going to be on the right temps. Okay. Grammatically. But, you know, one of the magic of our podcast, again, I'm skipping on that word, is to do that exercise. To try to have a conversation. Yes, in English, because, you know, to be frenchies in North America, you know, there's so many people that speaks English. That's why we had that idea of first to do that podcast in English. But it's a part of the experience also.
It's part of the experience. You said it. Our podcast is to live and pass through this experience and see what happens. I consider myself as a spectator of my own emotions, and those kind of experiences, like this podcast with you, Becky, is another thing for me to just analyze and see what happens and live. Exactly.
Yes.
And it's so good. I feel free right now. I feel totally like myself and good with me and my body and my soul with you, because it's like
kind of naked, but in a certain way, in another way.
Yes.
Naked, but not.
Get naked and talking. No,
but get naked with your partner and talk about the real stuff, you know? I'm sure you're going to find so many other stuff that you didn't expect, okay? Believe me, you are going to be surprised, because if I imagine you and I naked one day, oh my gosh. And I'm sure, and don't worry, it's not going to become something sexual or something.
No,
it is not going to be that. But what I mean is we could have fun to talk again about real stuff, about you and me, our buddy, you know? Do I want to do that exercise? I'm not sure I wanted to do it. But if it happened one day, I'm sure I'm going to laugh big time, because I could not hide anything. That's why. If you see my face right now.
Oh, God.
I could not hide anything. But I feel like that with you, even if I'm not naked. That's how I feel. It's true.
Today is our first episode. So we have a time difference, and it's not always going to be that way, because I'm going to go back to Canada this summer.
Yes.
But I'm at the end of the day right now. It's 5:15 p.m. And you, Becky, it's 11, right?
Yes.
11:15. I know your day just began, but I have a question for you that I'm curious to know. I have two questions. In fact, it's the questions I ask my daughter before we go to sleep.
Yes.
I want to know one thing that you didn't like today in your day, and one thing that you really liked. And I want you to exclude the podcast.
And I hope you're going to answer to the question also after me.
Of course. I can start if you want. Because I had my whole day.
Yes.
Okay,
you have a biggest of a day. Yes. You go ahead.
Okay. A thing that I really appreciate today, if I exclude our first episode of this podcast, I would say to remind me that every relationships in your life, even if they are not durable, can be really good for you. Because in the military life, we met a lot of people, and I'm saying that because I'm at the end of our posting in Europe, and those people I know are good friends now, and I'm not sure if we're gonna meet each other in the future, and it's kind of scary because you're like, what's the point? And at the same time, I'm like, no, it was so good. Those kind of little things that I had, little connections with people that I will probably never meet again. But I'm grateful to just appreciate this. We had a brunch this morning with friends that I'm not sure if we're gonna have the chance to meet again. And I'm grateful for that.
Nothing.
To just accept it. Yeah.
Yes.
And oh my God, it's not gonna always be this kind of a big realization. It's just because I'm passing through this today. Because let's be clear, let's be honest. Those kind of questions, Becky, could be just, oh my God, I had a coffee with vanilla today and it was freaking good. That could be your answer. Okay, it's gonna depend on every day. And
absolutely.
The thing I didn't like today was I have 2 kids, one 3 years old and one 6 years old, and they did a mess with the playroom. And I'm working in the playroom upstairs, and it's kind of my private environment and not at the same times because they are allowed to play. It's normal. Just this as a mom. God, I'm not the only one, I'm sure. When you pass the vacuum and you just have a Lego and you're like, fudge it, I'm just gonna put it in the vacuum and I don't care anymore for that freaking Lego. It happens to me because I was so mad.
You know what? Like we said, we are raw to each other.
Yeah.
That's something that you don't want to tell everyone about the fact that you put that damn Lego into that, vacuum.
and like everyone's saying, hey, Lego are expensive. You need to don't do that. And no, this freaking Lego.
But that one is in the trash. Too bad. It has to go there today. Trash, baby. Too late. I needed it.
Okay, do you know how I feel when you go to the church and you have to say when you go to the priest? Yes,
your sin.
Oh my God, I love it. I want to know your sin.
You just made a confession.
Too.
You just made a confession. Yes,
I like it. It's our confession.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect. I like it. And you know what? I never have done that in my life, and there's only one reason why I didn't have done it.
Why?
It's because I'm not the one who's passing the vacuum in the house. That's the only reason why I didn't have done it. It's because it's my husband.
Lucky woman.
Oh yes, I am.
Oh, Johnny.
I am. Believe me. Oh yes, Johnny boy is the answer to that question. And I'm gonna ask him. Believe me, I'm gonna ask him that question.
And next time, I want to have an update on this.
I will.
Okay.
I will give you the update. So okay. What was the funniest and unfunniest thing that happened to me today? For the couple of hours that I'm awake, because I awake at 9 today. Well, the kind or funniest thing or thing positive that happened to me this morning is that my husband wake me up today, because I have to wake up because of our podcast. But the thing is, he doesn't wake me up very often. But in the morning, usually I woke up with my alarm, and that was so like tender.
Oh,
the way he woke.
So cute.
Because I was in my daughter's room, because last night she said, well, can you join me during the night? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, it's Saturday night, so I don't care. So at maybe 1:30 in the morning. I went to the bathroom and then I went upstairs. So, and I even, the gentleness that he just touched my leg, you know, I even thought it was my daughter that woke me up, but it was my husband. I felt like I could have sleep more and everything, but I don't know why, but because he woke me up and he said, you know, you have your podcast, you know, in an hour. Just the fact that he was careful and he wanted me to be on time and that I have my podcast and it was so important to me. Just that. To be awake was the baddest moment. But because the way he done it was the good
way.
It's like it was one moment that have both, but the positive win.
Yes.
And it's
usually
true.
The negatives win. Because it takes 3 positive to overcome a negative thoughts or negative things, right?
Okay. Yes, but the positive win. But it was at the same moment. That's crazy, eh?
Love it. I didn't expect that answer.
That's why I love him. My goodness. That's why I love him so much.
Oh my God. And I feel like, you know how I feel like we just touched the edge of the iceberg and that we're going to have tons of things to talk about and I can't wait.
It's for sure. It's for sure that we have. We're so lucky to have that connection. Oh, yes.
Thank you, Becky.
Let's call a thing, baby.
Thank you for being with us today.
We appreciate it and can't wait to be with you next month.
I am Amy.
And I'm Becky.
And let's call a thing.
A thing.